This module will cover proper lifting procedures for all employees. As you will soon discover, working in a location requires a lot of physical activity, which involves using your body to lift, carry, and move items such as merchandise, carts, and other equipment. Improper lifting techniques frequently result in musculoskeletal injuries. The purpose of this training is to identify and demonstrate the key think principles and teach you how to execute them during your day-to-day activities. There are several important aspects to proper lifting and good body mechanics. To help you remember them, we're going to use the acronym THINK, as in think before you lift. By now, you're probably wondering what THINK stands for. The T in THINK stands for toes. Toes and nose always face the same direction when lifting or transferring. Your feet should always initiate any change in direction. So don't move your head and shoulders without first moving your feet to face what you're doing. The H stands for head. The head and chest should always lead the lift. That means that when you lift properly, with your hips and knees bent, your head and chest, not your back, will lead the lift. Keep your head up and your chest out. The I stands for increase. When preparing to lift, increase your base of support with your feet at least hip width apart. This will help you maintain a neutral posture and take the strain off of your back. The N stands for neutral. The best protection for your back is to keep your spine in neutral position, then tighten your abs and hold it during the lift. And finally, the K stands for keep, as in keep it close. Always keep items that you are holding or lifting as close to your body as possible. This will reduce the force of the object as it relates to your spine and will require less work to perform the lift. So, avoid injury by remembering to think before you lift. You've probably seen people stretching out their legs before a run. Stretching will not only improve muscle mechanics and lubricate joints and ligaments to avoid injury, but it will also help strengthen your back muscles, preparing you in advance for lifting heavy objects. If a runner stretches their legs before running, doesn't it make sense to stretch your back and leg muscles prior to lifting? Stretch your legs, arms, and back to engage your muscles. Know your limits and don't overdo it. Don't carry something that is too heavy for you. Instead, always ask another employee for help. The correct weight for you can often be less than you think. While working on the front end, stocking merchandise, or pushing carts, these next few lifts, if performed properly, will help reduce strain on your body and in turn reduce the chance of you getting injured. The first lift is called the power squat. The power squat is similar to what a weightlifter might use, where the legs do all the work. This lift is excellent when working in tight spaces. Let's apply the THINK acronym while we look at this. Be sure your toes and nose are facing the same direction when starting the lift. Keep a wide base of support before lifting the item. Keep the item as close to your body as possible. Make sure that your spine stays in neutral position the whole time. And lead the lift with your head and chest. The second lifting strategy that we're going to talk about is the straight squat, or mini squat. This lift is similar to the power squat, but the knees don't bend as far. So it is used to lift items that are at mid-body height. A good example of the mini squat is when an assistant lifts a case of water out of a cart on the front end. The next lifting strategy that we're going to look at is the staggered squat. The staggered squat involves bending down with one leg in front of the other and is especially useful in lifting items that are big or awkward. The staggered squat can also be used to slide an object up your leg. The next lifting strategy is called the golfer's lift. This lift is not used to pick up heavy items, but rather it is used to pick up light objects that are low to the ground, or on the ground, or in a cart or bin. It is the same technique that golfers use to reach down and pick up their ball. This example picture that you see here demonstrates how to use the golfer's lift on the front end. Notice how in this lift the leg raises up behind you, allowing your spine to stay neutral. Remember to think while you're doing this activity. The last lifting strategy that we're going to address is the concept of build a bridge. This is a key concept in body mechanics and is a way to increase the base of support and to take pressure off the spine. The examples that we used just a minute ago in the golfer's lift, where we had an employee place their hand out while reaching over, is an example of building a bridge. Now that we've talked about the different lifts using the think principles, let's talk about how to prepare your body for work. We would like you to think of yourself as an industrial athlete. If you were a professional athlete, you would have a regular warm-up routine that you would do before you went out to participate in your sport. Think of your job in the same way. Regular stretching allows for easier movement because muscles have less tension, and when muscles have less tension, they put less stress on the joints they operate. Use the natural breaks that you have during your workday to do some brief 10 or 15-second stretches. For instance, if you're stocking an aisle and you've finished, take 15 seconds to do a quick back bend, or stretch your calf or your hamstring muscle. You should always have some sort of stretching routine. Stretch and flex posters are posted throughout the location. Refer to these stretches often as they are designed to fit the task performed in each department. We have just reviewed for you the core concepts of proper lifting, including the concept of maintaining your spinal curve and neutral spine, as well as reviewing and implementing the think principles. You've been given several lifting strategies which can be utilized while performing the daily tasks required of you in your job responsibilities. If you utilize these strategies and remember to think before you lift, we are confident that you will reduce your risk of injury and be able to maintain a safe, healthy working environment for yourself and your coworkers.